I think when you have a bunch of humans doing one thing and the bigger the organization gets, there's always going to be something that is missed. I think what we have not
The
seen,
show, for instance.
Exactly. What we have not seen from Elon Musk or this administration is any evidence of all of this abuse that they're talking about, right?
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. We have got to talk about a little bit about Joy Reid. I know she's the one that was crying and whining, boohoo and moaning because her show Read Out was canceled. Not sure if she's completely gone from MSNBC, but her show was canceled because of the low ratings. And I got to talk about the person that they hired for a weekend show by the name of Eugene Daniels. We're going to talk about this. And is there a push to make Black people gay? Before we get into it, don't forget to smash like, comment, share, subscribe, hit all notifications so that you are always alerted of when I post a new video. Now let's get into it. All right, so here this is, Joy Reid. Here is her crying. She did a video and she was trying not to cry and she was saying her show had value and, all the things, right? And she allegedly blames it on the fact that she's a woman because clearly there are other Black people on MSNBC, but really her ratings were low, like really low, like in the toilet. And, sometimes we have to take personal responsibility for the fact that our ratings are low. I'm going to read this. Now, this is Joy Reid on the left, as you know, and to the right is Eugene Daniels. Joy Reid reportedly outraged over her termination from MSNBC and is considering legal action against the network. According to former colleagues, Reid believes she was discriminated against based on her gender. She alleges that MSNBC replaced her with Eugene Daniels, a gay, non-binary Black man, to further its DEI goals. Those pesky little DEI goals. You know how I feel about DEI, needs to DIE. Ironically, Reid has been a vocal advocate for DEI and has publicly supported men competing in women's sports and invading their spaces. Now, Reid claims to be a victim of those very same policies. Now, you can see this is Eugene Daniels, okay? He has he's queer, non-binary, whatever you want to call it. He has on a dress, a sparkly belt, a fan painted nails, and thigh-high boots. You would think eventually they would learn that just regular people would be good enough, but they have to go all out and push their own agendas. So looking at some more of these posts, just wanting to show you now, here is Caroline Levitt confirming that over 8 million taxpayer dollars went to subsidizing Politico. Daniels comments. Now it says February 8th, Politico's Eugene Daniels declares that Doge is not producing evidence of waste or abuse. Daniels' comments were made on PBS. Okay, Washington Week with The Atlantic. So an employee of a formerly taxpayer-subsidized print propaganda outlet, Politico, is appearing on a still taxpayer-subsidized TV propaganda outlet, PBS, spreading lies and propaganda. Let's hear what Caroline Levitt has to say, and then Eugene Daniels.
I can confirm that the more than 8 million taxpayer dollars that have gone to essentially subsidizing subscriptions to Politico on the American taxpayers' dime will no longer be happening. The Doge team is working on canceling those payments now.
I think when you have a bunch of humans doing one thing and the bigger the organization gets, there's always going to be something that is missed. I think what we have not
The
seen,
show, for instance.
Exactly. What we have not seen from Elon Musk or this administration is any evidence of all of this abuse that they're talking about, right? They say they've gone in, they found.
I don't see him lasting very long because even in this little clip, he's really sounding like Kamala Harris. I mean, okay, and he was one of the interviewers when Kamala Harris came on. He belongs to the National Association of Black Journalists.
all of this waste that has been happening. We haven't seen it.
He literally just said he hasn't seen it. And Caroline Levitt is giving the receipts. So, and he has painted nails on this as well, and a brooch. And let's just look again at what he's wearing. I'm sorry, guys. They're trying to look at his nails. They're trying to send a statement by everyone that they hire on MSNBC. You know, my friend Vince Everett Ellison has stated he thinks the left has a fascination with ugly Black women, some of them with no hair. He was talking about Joy Reid, Stacey Abrams, you know, others, Ayanna Presley. I mean, I think she has alopecia though, Ayanna Presley, but I'm just wondering if there is some kind of fascination with that, especially when I look at Cynthia Erivo, who played the witch in Wicked. You know, if they can get Black female and a lesbian, that's the trifecta. They love to do that. They're making a statement. And one of the things, again, that I want to talk about is there a push to make Black America gay? All right. Is there just a push? Because I think it is. Now, let's look at a little bit more of Eugene Daniels, who's going to be on a weekend show for MSNBC. All righty, so, you know, here we go again with Mr. Eugene Daniels. And I just got to say, is there a push? Asking that question. Is there a push to make Black America gay, queer, the alphabet community? You know, that's just my personal belief that my opinion is that the answer is yes, because you see it too many times. Because everything that, whether it's NAACP, whether it's BET, whether it's Black Lives Matter was founded by several queer Black women. NAACP awards, image awards to people who let their child, you know, have that affirming healthcare, as they call it, like in the case of Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. Even going so far as to have the birth certificate changed. He went from Zion to Zaya. Okay, we gotta just really pay attention to what's going on and don't just be fooled. Here is Mr. Eugene Daniels on MSNBC.
He has a hard time running against Vice President Harris because she's a Black woman. You remember, actually, when he would tussle with the women that would ask him questions, our colleagues on the White House beat. Reporters. You know, he held his kind of most angry self for Black women, right? If they asked him a question, he would have the worst things to say about them. So you're seeing that, right?
I can think of three off the top of my head.
And when he talked about Joe Biden got worse, Harris was born like that, right? That's different. That's a dog whistle to folks to say, you know, the white guy just got older and it got worse, but the Black lady was born dumb. That is the kind of thing that Donald Trump is saying and selling to folks.
Yeah. This was clearly before the election, and I just want to point out something. Again, he's got on a brooch. Okay, who wears brooches? He's got on a brooch, and this lady has on a tie. Okay, he should have on what she has on, and she should have on what he has on. He also has painted nails. I don't know if I could get a good, clear view of that, but he has painted nails. His nails are painted again. Now, he gets his nails done, honey. He's not going outside in the public. And let me just point out, he does have painted nails, and she has on a tie. This is what they're doing on MSNBC. This is what they do on the left, okay? And this man is not going to last long. I don't think so. Here's another picture of him right here with two other men who, again, he's got a flag. No, not a flag. I'm sorry, a fan. And he's got on the little sparkly boots, just flaming. Oh, their shirts that are cut off, showing their bellies, literally say Barbie. Those shirts say Barbie. Oh, Lord help us. This is what they're promoting in the Black community. They either get an ugly Black woman or a gay Black man. And the gay Black man, he got way more hair than Joy Reid. All the hair, which I would think would be on her head. She at one time had hair, but they were just like, get rid of your hair. I mean, is that what they're doing on MSNBC? Because Simone Sanders Townsend also has a very low haircut, and she works for MSNBC. That's who she works for. So again, my question is there a push to make Black people gay? Is there a push? I think there is a push. Now I'm going to switch gears a little bit here. I'm going to switch gears and talk about that African American history course. Remember when Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, was against it, and it was literally called the Advanced African American History course. It's like an AP course. But he also said it is because it has queer theory in it. But when you heard about it on the news, they said he's trying to stop us getting taught about our history. He's trying to whitewash history. He's trying to get rid of history. No, that is simply not true. I'm going to show you right now. I just want to show you a little bit about this AP African American Studies course. All right, just read with me, will you? Topics from the AP course on the left, the concern is on the right. Topic 4.15, intersectionality and activism. The concern is intersectionality is foundational to CRT and ranks people based on their race, wealth, gender, and sexual orientation. Included reading, Kimberly Crenshaw, known as the founder of Intersectionality, co-editor of Critical Race Theory, the key writings that formed the movement. Angela Davis, she was a lesbian. She is a lesbian. Angela Davis, self-avowed communist and Marxist. We're going to talk about the civil rights movement in a moment, but let me just say before we get into the civil rights movement and all of the queer Black people involved in that movement, this is something that has been happening since the 1960s and probably beyond, before that, because gay people have been around since biblical times. Make no mistake about it. But it became really full-blown, like a push in the 1960s, like a concerted effort. And you see Angela Davis, who is a lesbian. Okay, she came out, and you can look this up. You can look this up if you don't believe me. Kimberly Crenshaw, founder of Intersectionality, and co-editor of Critical Race Theory. If you guys don't think there's a movement, I feel sorry for you. There is a push to push this lifestyle on Black folks. Okay, we already got abortion clinics in the hood, Planned Parenthood. We've already got that problem. That, getting rid of our babies. And then in the public schools, they want to push a certain ideology on you so that you can be confused about who you are. In certain states, you can get this gender affirming care even without the consent of your parents. And if you cannot get it in your state, well, Minnesota will be happy to oblige. They are like a sanctuary state for people who are confused, who have gender dysphoria. Okay. And again, I'm not picking on people who deal with that. I pray and hope in the name of Jesus you get the proper help. Now, topic Black queer studies. We have topic 4.19, Black queer studies. The included reading on the right, Roderick Ferguson, who exclaims we have to encourage and develop practices whereby queerness isn't a surrender to the status quos of race, class, gender, and sexuality. It means building forms of queerness that reject the given realities of the government and the market. Interesting. That was included reading. Roderick Ferguson, who claims we have to encourage and develop practices whereby queerness isn't a surrender to the status quo. My goodness. Now we also have movements for Black lives. It also states Movement for Black Lives is an organization which stated objectives that include eliminating prisons and jails, ending pretrial detention, and concluding the war on Black, trans, queer, gender nonconforming, and intersex people. So the included reading is Leslie K. Jones, who wrote, every day, Black people produce an unquantifiable amount of content for the same social media corporations that reproduce the white supremacist, there goes that word again, reproduce the white supremacist superstructures that oppress us. There goes that victimhood again. You got to bring up white supremacy when you got to bring up Black, queer, white supremacy, and oppression. They wear it out, honey. They'll bring out that race thing, that racism card in a minute. Black feminist literary thought included reading Bell Hooks, author of many intersectionality texts, and in the recommended reading states, I began to use the phrase in my work, white supremacists. There it goes again. Capitalist patriarchy, because I wanted to have some language that would actually remind us continually. This person wanted to have language that reminds us continually of the interlocking systems of domination that define our reality. Then it goes on to say the reparations movement. Oh, here we got to talk about reparations. All points and resources in this study advocate for reparations. There is no critical perspective or balancing opinion in this lesson. So are we going to ask for reparations for the Africans who actually sold us into slavery? Because Black people were already slaves in Africa under a dominant tribe. I believe it was the name Asante or Ashanti tribe. And those were more than likely the ones that they just sold off to the white man. The white man did not invade and kidnap. He bought slaves. They were sold to him. You know what I'm saying? So if we want Black history, get it correct. Get it correct. So if we want reparations, are we going to get it from the Black Africans over there in Africa right now? The West part of Africa, Nigeria, on into the center, into the Congo. Is that what we're doing? Because they haven't checked on us since. They just sold us and didn't check on us. They never visited or anything like that. So let's get it correct, okay? And not saying that slavery was great. It was horrible, evil institution. I repeat, it was a horrible, evil institution. But let's get the origins of how it happened correct. If we're talking about Black history and we want to get it correct, right? All right, so Black study and Black struggle in the 21st century included reading. Robin D.G. Kelly argues that activism, rather than the university system, is the catalyst for social transformation. Kelly's first book was a study of Black communists in Alabama. Kelly warns that simply establishing safe spaces, that's another one, you got to have your safe space, guys, and renaming campus buildings does nothing to overthrow capitalism. Overthrow capitalism. Communism, right? Marxism. There it goes again. The civil rights movement was really a communist movement. Yeah, Angela Davis was very blatant about it. And don't forget some of the people that were, very well known. Don't forget some of the very well known queer people from the 1960s. We're just going to look over some of them in a very brief detail. So stick with me. Let's do it right now. So we know that, queerness has been around since the biblical times, but it seems to me in the 1960s, there was a real big push to push communism and also dependence on government, which is what communism is, and also queerness. And I believe, again, is there a push to make Black Americans queer? 16 queer Black trailblazers who made history. Let's look at these people here. Gladys Bentley, yes, was a gender-bending performer during the Harlem Renaissance. Donning a top hat and tuxedo, Bentley would sing the blues in Harlem establishments like the Clam House and the Ubangi Club. Gender bending. That's Gladys Bentley. This is a biological female, okay, wearing men's clothing. All right, gender bending. And died in 1960 at the age of 52. Then we have Bayard Rustin. He was pivotal in the 1960s civil rights movement. With MLK, Rustin was an LGBTQ and civil rights activist, best known for being a key advisor. He was a key advisor to Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. He organized the 1963 March on Washington and was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2013 for his activism. Right. In 2013, Barack Hussein Obama was the president. Oh, he just loves awarding certain types of awards to certain types of people. All right. Then we have Stormy Delivari, a biracial butch lesbian. That's what it says right here. Was born in New Orleans and was always a performer. Okay, and she joined the Ringling Brothers Circus, and only, I think she was like in drag or something like that. Then we have James Baldwin, a writer and social critic. Baldwin is perhaps best known for his 1955 collection of essays, Notes of a Native Son, and his groundbreaking 1956 novel, Giovanni's Room, which depicts themes of homosexuality and bisexuality. Funny how it's called Giovanni's Room, because that makes me think of Nikki Giovanni. Oh, she had a little snippet with James Baldwin back in the day when, they were both young and everything. And it goes on to say that Baldwin spent a majority of his literary and activist career educating others about Black and queer identity, as he did during his famous lecture titled Race, Racism, and the Gay Community. Lorraine Hansberry, she was a playwright. I played the daughter Benitha in A Raisin in the Sun a while back. And she was also not vocal, not public about her lesbianism, but she was in fact that. And because it does say, let me read it here. It says the latter, let me see, prior to A Raisin in the Sun fame, Hansberry, who never publicly acknowledged she was a lesbian, joined lesbian rights group Daughters of Bilitis. You're going to see that again. And contributed letters about feminism and homophobia to his magazine. And she did die in 1965. At the age of 34. Alvin Ailey. Now, this caught me by shock. This is like a shocker to me. The choreographer, he's on this list. We know his works. I mean, his signature work, including Cry and Revelations, continued to be performed all over the world. And in 2014, Ailey was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his influential work in bringing dance to underserved communities. 2014, Barack Hussein Obama was the president. Wow, he's just giving out, awards to gay dead people. Yeah, just doing that. Audre Lorde, a self-described Black lesbian feminist, mother, poet, warrior, made lasting contributions in the fields of feminist theory, critical race studies, and queer theory through her pedagogy and writing. Okay. And also we have Ernestine Eckstein. Ernestine Eckstein was a leader in the New York chapter of Daughters of Bilitis. Okay, that is a lesbian group. Okay, we saw that with another person we talked about. It is the first lesbian civil and political rights organization in the United States. She attended annual reminder picket protests and was frequently one of the only women and the only Black woman present at early LGBTQ rights protests. All right. Also, we have Barbara Jordan. I remember her. Wow. She was also that way. And it says Jordan was never explicitly acknowledged her sexual orientation in public. She was open about her life partner of nearly 30 years, Nancy Earl. Okay. Then we have a twins by the name of Marsha P. Johnson, who would cheekily tell people the P stood for Pay It No Mind, was an outspoken trans rights activist, and is reported to be one of the central figures of the historic Stonewall Uprising of 1969, along with fellow trans activist Sylvia Rivera Johnson. All right. And also we have Miss Major Griffin Gracie. We have Ron Oden. We have Phil Wilson. We have Andrea Jenkins, Willie Ninja, Lori Lightfoot, she was the former mayor of Chicago. Okay. So my thing is, I'm going to ask this question again. Is there a push to make Black people gay? I look at the NAACP, I look at BET, I look at Black Lives Matter. All these organizations have a strong component in them. And I also told you about that advanced African American history course. And the real reason why Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, doesn't want it is because it had queer theory introduced into it. See, the left is good about naming something one way, but in between the packaging under the layers, there's an agenda to it. And a lot of people don't recognize the agenda. And the media is going to push out whatever the demon rats say, but they don't talk about the agenda of it. And see, that's why people, that's how we get tricked. But do you all think there's an agenda to make Black people gay, to make us part of this movement, to make us like this so that we don't procreate? Tell me in your comments below. Well, that's it for today's video. Don't forget to smash like, comment, share, subscribe, hit all notifications so that you are always alerted of when I post a new video. You all be blessed, love God, your families, these United States of America, and march on, warriors.